Original music for this podcast has been provided by Ashiko Music Group 1 at gmail.com. Ashiko Music Group 1 at gmail.com.
Welcome to your Expat Expert podcast, where we share ways to study, volunteer, work, or retire abroad. Embrace this journey because your new life is about to begin.
Today on the show, we have Haida, a teacher in Thailand. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hi, Tiffany. How are you?
Good. So, Haida, what brought you to Thailand?
Well, I guess my journey started about 15 years ago. I started working at a school in Puerto Rico, and I met a wonderful group of people that a lot of them had already been living abroad, in other countries outside of the U.S. And they had been, telling me about how was it like living in other countries? What was the experience as an expat? How was it like working with different groups of students? And I guess, it really got my attention and I really wanted to give it a go. So at one point I thought, well, I actually want to go to Miami. Okay. And I applied at a school in Miami, and I didn't get any replies.
Okay.
And I thought, I don't really want to go abroad. I'm just going to go to Miami, and I know that's close to where I'm from, to Puerto Rico, so it's going to be great. Mm-hmm. And they didn't call me, and I thought, I wonder why they didn't get in touch with me. But they'd gotten in touch with another friend of mine who had about the same
credentials
as I did. Yeah. And so, but I said, I'm going to go anyways, because that's where I really want to go teach. And then they met with me and they said, yes, I remember your CV. I remember because of your last name. But we didn't call you because we thought you would have a very thick Puerto Rican accent.
Wow.
And so at that time, I thought, do you know what? I'm going to take that other job. I'm going to go abroad. I need time to go away. I think this is a good time for me in my career. I had already been hearing wonderful things about living abroad. So I went ahead and my principal that at the school in Zambia, that's where I went before coming to Thailand.
Nice.
At a school in Zambia said to me, you know what? You've got a job with us. And I thought, all right. And it was perfect. They covered my flights. They helped me with relocation. They helped me with a settling allowance. They had everything. So I'd even bought a car before I got there. And this was at the time, 2007. And I remember being there a little bit kind of like, whoa, I can't believe I'm so far from home. Mm-hmm. My intentions were to go to Miami. But,
down the street.
This is way better. It was way better for me. I felt so happy. It was absolutely everything new, everything different. And I've got to say, every once in a while, I still miss it so much because I love the country. I love the people in Zambia. And I worked at the time at a great school over there. And it was great. After 3 years there, it kind of started,
getting time. Yeah.
It was time. I was like, I would have stayed there the rest of my life. Because it is that beautiful and it is a wonderful country to live and a great school. But it was me that wanted to discover something else. I wanted to go somewhere else. And I had never been to Asia. And so I thought, I'd never even been to Africa before. So that was another one. Never been anywhere in Africa. So for me to live in Zambia and visit so many beautiful countries around in Africa was wonderful. And I thought, let me go to Thailand, and it was, I looked for a few schools around in the world. I looked in places in Dubai. I looked in places in Thailand, China, Jordan, and Switzerland. And that was through it is a company, it's called Search Associates, and they help teachers look for jobs around the world. I believe there's another one. And so you pay a fee, and you could look at the school's database, and you can take a look at how much they pay, what the allowances are, how you could live in these places, what the schools are like, how many students. So that's what I joined. And then from there is where I found all these different countries and schools. And so I ended up coming to Thailand, which is where I still am since 2010. And so 12 years later, I am still at the same school, still the same apartment I actually moved in when I first came.
Which is lovely.
And the reason why it peaked, I guess, I that day wrote to many schools, but this one wrote that same day they'd written back to me. And I thought, well, isn't that a coincidence? And then I flew to London to meet them in person, because at the time the Skype, I think 2009, 2010, the Skype was the one what we were using. It wasn't really a good signal. And so we met in London, and I got the position here. And since I've been here, it's just been, for me, I look for a country that is safe. I look for a country that the health insurance and medical services are fantastic, are phenomenal. I fully trust, everything that happens in the medical services here. The doctors are great. It's also, Thai people are extremely kind and peaceful. The land of smiles, totally different. And at the same time, very similar, because for me being Puerto Rican, and this is the tropics, right? So I was really happy with being in the same climate and seeing a lot of the same, flora and fauna of Puerto Rico, finding a lot of the fruits and veggies and things that we have there. So being in Thailand, it's just, for me, it's fantastic. And as well as the school that I chose to come work, which is the school that I'm still at, and it's been an amazing school. It's been a huge growth professionally for me. And I have seen how much the school has changed, and how much the school continues to revisit policies, revisit curriculum, changing with the times. And with that has come, a lot of advantages, perhaps for diversity also included in the schools. And we'd like to see more. We're not there yet, but I think we should be able to see more. It's taken longer, but I think in the last 3-4 years, we've seen a big change, but not just in international schools, but around the world. Unfortunately, it had to take the death of George Floyd to see a lot of things happening around the world, a lot of diversity, a lot of people saying this is enough. We'd like to see mirrors of ourselves in many different situations. And that has also been, you can see it in different embassies. So since I've lived here, I think, that is something that it impacted US, but it also impacted the rest of the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so Yeah, so it's just been it's something that I have seen the changes, and I'm happy where we're heading towards. I know there's still a lot of room for growth, but I feel we're gonna get there.
Right. Oh, nice. Well, we met through a mutual friend, a friend of a friend, right? And as you know, I was supposed to be in Thailand 2 years ago, and my flight was canceled the day before I was supposed to move to Thailand. And the fact that, like you mentioned, the pandemic, the George Floyd, as well as Breonna Taylor, I mean, the list goes on and on, right? So the fact that you're saying that progress is actually happening, and the fact that the world can actually see the truth, it's phenomenal now. So I'm happy that things are changing and progress is still moving forward. Before we go into other conversations, we're going to take a break. We will be back with Miss Heida, an international teacher in Thailand.
Hello, this is Dev from Amarpur Tailors Just Mag Thai. We have been in the business for approximately 55 years. We have been making suits for the congressmen, military, ambassadors, police officers, and many more. We ensure you get a satisfied suit with us. There may be many tailors out in town, but to get exclusive fabrics, an excellent bespoke fit, and a satisfied customer is the way we go to. Please contact on 088-463-9027 or visit my website www.amrapurtailor.com. Hope to see you soon.
Have you studied, volunteered, lived, or worked abroad? Share your international experience with us. We want to hear from you. Feel free to contact us at yourexpatexpert@gmail.com.
We are back with Miss Heida, an international teacher in Thailand. Now, Heida, can you mention or at least share some of the lessons learned or nobody told me or I didn't know moments while living abroad, teaching abroad?
Well, so one thing that I guess I wasn't, maybe, I don't know, youth is a blessing, and at one point I wasn't even thinking about, retirement.
It's creeping up on us.
Creeps on you like that, right? And so I moved to Zambia, and I was working there with an American school. So a lot of the how the way that we got paid was at our bank, back in the U.S. And then we would receive some money in cash with the currency of the country. So that was fine because I could still, I knew my money was in the U.S. and the IRS knew what I was doing, basically, because the school was affiliated to the American Embassy. So it was good. But then moving from there to an international school where we have our own bank accounts here, and as a Puerto Rican, it has become a lot more difficult for me to find out how to continue filing and all of that, because then I'd have to do it myself. And the accountants here wouldn't know exactly. Most of them have always said, I don't deal with matters of Puerto Rico. So a lot of the other Americans have been able to get great help, in terms of filing taxes, or we don't need to pay taxes in the U.S. because we do pay taxes over here. Right. So that's fine. But there were a lot of things that I didn't know. And then it was hard for me to get also a Puerto Rican accountant to help me because they don't know about living in Thailand. So that's right. Yeah. There's very few of us in internationals of Puerto Ricans here. Mm-hmm. I don't think I've met another one actually in an international school in Thailand. So that has become difficult for me to find out how to take care of a lot of that. I'm getting some ideas about that, but but I'll get there. I just feel that that was something that I wish there was more information about a resident of Puerto Rico moving abroad, right? Not being from the States.
Right.
Exactly, because we are a colony. So we having different, I guess, what do you call it? Different methods on how to, do certain conversions. Another thing that was difficult for me, for example, was to change my driver's license. I was like, but this is a U.S. driver's license. They were like, yeah, but it's from Puerto Rico, and so that's not. You can't really. And I'm like, but I'm a U.S. citizen, and this is the thing. There's things that we Puerto Ricans go through that I don't think I would have known it had it been in the States, because we're another citizen. Right. But over here, there are situations where I'm like, I don't know how to do that, and I don't know anyone else that can help me about it. But as something I did do as soon as I got here was put money towards investments, because I knew that was, so I was like, while I figure out how I'm going to do this investments is what the school also suggested we would do. And so since then, I've been contributing to investments and then trying to find out how to get information on filing the taxes through, for Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Which is not the same for other states, but I'm not sure what they are either, because of what I told you. Either no one here knows about the Puerto Rico system, or Puerto Ricans don't know about the Thailand system.
Right. Exactly.
Or any other
or both.
over here.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's been complicated. I think I would have liked to have figured it out before I came, but like I said, it was pretty easy in Zambia. Because it was affiliated to the American Embassy, so that was fine. And then over here, it could have been better had I taken care of it, but like it's sneaking up on me now. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to take care of all these things. Yeah. So.
Okay, well, that is a challenge. However, I'm glad that you shared that, especially for future Puerto Ricans who are seeking to work abroad.
I mean, yeah, and even U.S. citizens or any other, just before you come and before you're looking into, just find out what it is that you need to take care of. There are like countries that don't need to even file, like Canada doesn't have to, England doesn't have to, but.
And then as long as you're out of the U.S. 330 days, you just need to seek advice from your financial advisor, an experienced international financial advisor. So
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Well, I thank you so much, Heida, for being so open and also sharing your experience, because you have been here for a while and you have been a great resource, especially for me. So I thank you so much. And thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. We hope this gives you some creative ideas on how you can study, volunteer, work, or retire abroad. Shout out to my sound editor, Martin, and Ashiko Music Group. Feel free to follow us through our social media channels listed in the description below. See you next time.